offensively, I thought that we started out really well. Let's see. We'll start with Jaylen Warren. Start with the running game. We'll start with Jaylen.
Wait. Are you hearing the rumors? You hearing the debate?
I've heard some of the debate, yes. How do you feel about said debate? How do you feel about said controversy that's just being trying to just...
I have mixed emotions.
Okay.
I get the sentiments at this
All right.
point. I truly get the sentiments.
Because you saw both in a similar setting.
I just feel like it's a disservice to Jaylen Warren.
Okay.
If you're this big Najee Harris fan and want to completely write Jaylen Warren off and say like, nah, he doesn't deserve more carries, or like this shouldn't even be a conversation. Like,
right.
Najee's so much better than Jaylen Warren. I think you're doing a disservice to 3-0.
Fair.
I really do. But then at the same time, if you're out here just saying Najee Harris sucks and Jaylen Warren should be the starter, he should be getting 80% of the carries, I think that's too far as well.
Fair.
Like, to the point where I'm willing to go right now, I'm willing to go 50-50.
Okay.
But I think Najee's still RB1, deserves to be the starter to open the season. Like, back-to-back 1,000-yard years. For the most part, the line he's been running behind has not been good. Started to turn up in the second half of last season. Yeah, Najee is still valuable to this team. They both bring different elements. I think Kenny said in his interview, they're like ground and pound or thunder and lightning. It's not the worst problem to have. Two solid, competent running backs. I mean, that's actually what you want in this league. I mean, you're seeing teams like the New York Jets. They have Breece Hall. They also picked up Dalvin Cook. We're very far away from the one running back bell cow getting all the carries. So we should be excited that Jaylen Warren's doing stuff like this. In fact, he did something I didn't know if he was capable of or not, and that's take a run 60 yards to the house and outrun a whole defense. Like, we knew he was more speedy and agile than Najee, but to do that, that's what we were talking about McFarland for. I don't know. McFarland might be a little bit more expendable. He should make the roster still, but you get what I'm saying.
So I looked at it like this, man. Both backs bring something different to the table. With Najee, he is the high-class pedigree. I look at him as like the show horse, right? The one that has all the hype coming from college, the one that has been able to still be productive at this level, but it hasn't always been the most glamorous. It hasn't been the prettiest. That 62-yard run is pretty. It's sexy. It's like I don't even have to know anything. I just know that that's dope. Whereas with Najee, sometimes we got to talk context, right? 1,000-yard rusher, under 4 yards per carry. Physical runner, doesn't really have explosive plays, though. So it's just a different approach to it. But to act as if one is more valuable than the other, I can get that part, but I do feel like for both players, they do need each other. They complement each other's style. Najee isn't capable of doing what Jaylen Warren did, the 62-yard run where he steps around. Well, shoot, regardless of, before he even gets to open field, he's not stepping around Jordan Poyer like that. That was one-on-one in the alley. That was the most impressive part to me. I knew Jaylen was fast in terms of straight line, but he made a play stepping around an all-pro safety in the alley. That is tough to do. That's the drill that you always hear them working on at Latrobe now, where it's that sideline, you got about 10 yards, and you one-on-one make that guy miss. To see him do that in stadium versus that caliber player was really impressive because Najee has never done that at this level, let alone take it 60. But to make that type of guy miss in that type of window, that's very impressive. That's the difference between a good back and potentially a great back. The guys that can make that second-level defender miss. We've talked about that, right? With Najee, like, yo, man, you got to make this dude miss his one-on-one right here. And a lot of times he gets hit in that area because he's not really elusive. He's more power. So to me, I really liked that part for Jaylen. But when I look at the style of runs that Najee had in the game, I'm like, could this run have been different if it was Jaylen because of his quickness, because of his ability to get in and out of it? Yes. But then at the same time, I look at the physical style of running that Najee was running with in that, and I'm saying to myself, as a defender, Jaylen Warren taking that same approach is not going to have the same effect on me as a defender as when Najee ran that ball like that. Now, granted, it wasn't as pretty, but I look at the residual of it. Think of almost like a body puncher, right?
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Going up against Marshawn Lynch
Absolutely.
for 30 carries.
It's like boom, 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 boom. Eventually, then it's going to spit. But residual for me as a defender, I'm like, bro, this dude is a load to hit. and you get fatigued physically,
especially
and
in the
mentally.
winter too.
Yeah,
TG always brings that up
absolutely.
when it comes on.
And that's 100% accurate. Whereas for Jaylen, typically with the speed type of stuff, that slows down later in the year because you're more banged up. Now you need to be more of that bruising style that can punish him.
He does have that though too.
But we haven't seen it.
He's not afraid.
But think about this though. We haven't seen it in the same manner of a Najee, 20+ carries of that. It's easy to do it when you're only going to do it for a handful of times. And then the rest is you're in space, you're getting the ball on the perimeter, stretch plays and stuff like that. I think that's a different context. And I feel like for most, or a good amount of fans, I think they look at it and they don't see the difference with that. They just say, well, shoot, we've seen Jaylen run physical for 2 plays and then go 60. He could do that for 30 plays. It doesn't work like that because their frames are very different. That's why Najee is able to take on a lot of that punishment. But I just think that in terms of the division of labor, I still like Najee 60-40.
Sure.
Because I feel like that power punching is what sets up the home run hit. Because I look at when Jaylen gets in there and I look at how that linebacker was flying down because he's feeling like I got to get downhill in a hurry. That allows Seymalu, the guard, to climb up on him, pick up the front side backer. That was the block that sealed it. James Daniels did a great job of blocking Milano on the backside, but that was going to be a 50-50 block regardless. Seymalu's front side was the key, but it was because that dude is stepping up because Najee done ran that thing a couple of times just right here. And now you get Jaylen to step out, and now you won with the safety, and now it's just on Jaylen to make that play. His part of that play was you beat the safety. But I thought, like, as a whole, man, them two dudes together are way more effective than if you just exclusively say, man, make Jaylen be the guy going forward. I just think that that's going to hurt him more than it helps him. And for Najee's too good to not be out there too. Like what he brings is not as pretty, it's not as flashy, but it's still very effective. And in terms of a defender, like when you see them both of them together, it's a lot more scary than one versus the other per se.
I think you bring up great points. I'm with you 100%. I don't think there's any reason to go extreme one side or the other here.
Well, you know, it's 62-yarder, man. He's fast. Najee's never given us that. It's like, yeah, but Najee's not designed to give us that. Najee's designed to give you body punch. Think Mike Tyson type knockout, you know? Whereas when you look at Jaylen Warren, that's speed, that's flash. That's more like Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones, like that type of stuff, you know? I
think a lot of it probably has to do with us using a first-round pick on Najee, whereas with Jaylen Warren, undrafted.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if Najee Harris was a 3rd or 4th round pick, we'd be like, oh, we have amazing value in both these running backs.
Yeah, but the problem is Najee wouldn't be a 3rd or 4th round running back based on the talent. That's part of it. Because when we talk Jaylen's defining characteristic is his speed. He's developed some of the other stuff, but early on, we didn't look at him as a surefire powered back who could do the type of things that we knew Najee could do coming out. And I just think that was part of why we took Najee where we took him at. Remember, Najee was all world coming out of Bama, man. He was a big time player.
I think he was in the Heisman.
Yes, yeah. So it's like he wasn't just a regular type prospect, but at this level, I mean, that's a part of it too, man. Them expectations of where you get drafted at, it does stick with you at times. And for Jaylen, everything that Jaylen gives us throughout his career here in Pittsburgh, we're always going to view him as exceeding expectations because of where he started at.
100%.
Whereas for Najee, because of him being a first-round draft pick and because the last high-end running back we had was Le'Veon Bell, he's always going to be compared to L. Bell.
Good point.
And we're looking at first round and saying, well, what have you done to exceed the expectations that we had for you coming here as a first-round running back in 2020, 2021 timeframe? I just think that all of that is working against Najee right now, whereas for Jaylen, everything is in his favor, man.
Everything's house
money.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you also have the running back contract talk. Najee's coming up on 5th-year option.
You see what's going on with with Jonathan Taylor right now. You looking at Najee, and it's like, well, this dude just went 62, and we know for a fact
and we're seeing Jaylen Warren cook.
Yep, it's like we know you can't do this. You can do the other stuff, but you can't do that part. All right. I'm like, if you're Mr. Rooney, if you're Omar Khan, you over here, just Birdman, rub your hands like, we got him now. We got him now.
I think we can still pick up his 5th-year option. That doesn't kill us.
I don't think you even have to, though, to an
1 year,
extent.
what would it be? It would be like 1 year, $8 million or something. That's fine.
But we got to see what Jaylen does, because if Jaylen is going 62, if Jaylen does 62 at any point in time in the regular season, we're going to be questioning, is Najee worth $8 million per year? Because if that's what the 5th-year option, I'm not 100% on the number, but it's going to be in that ballpark.
Yeah.
We would legitimately be having them type of questions.
We would.
But
if he's still doing good things out there, that helps. But also, like the Bengals did.
But does that help enough for 8? Because I know you were
going
going to bring up Joe Mixon.
Well, I was going to say, the Bengals have kept their core together, that young core together. And I think that means something, too. Like, that could be added into it.
But has Mixon legitimately split his carries? Ryan, not really. Before that, you had Bernard. But it's clear been Joe. Whereas we're legit at times, not all of us, but at times, this Jaylen Warren convo has come up. It's not the first year it's didn't happen either. We talked about this even last year at times. And I just think that's the part that makes it, the $8 million part, just a little bit different to me, because at least in Cincy, you're like, yo, do I want to pay him that? No. But is he clearly the best running back on our team? Does he clearly give us the best chance to win? Can he do everything we need? Yes. With Najee, we see at times where it's like, all right, which version is it? All right, is Jaylen hot? Because if Jaylen's hot, then we don't even need this version right now. We can roll with this to an extent. That's the thing where it's like, when you talk about that $8 million for a running back as well, I think that's the part that kind of hurts him more than it helps him.
You have to be sure you get another guy.
Yeah.
But my thing is, it's only 1 year. Omar Khan can make that work for 1 year.
Do you just do it for 8 though? Because I'm like, for just a 1 year and it's not that serious, give him 4. If you're just trying to keep him here, but to give him 8, I'm thinking to myself.
Oh, you're saying keep him, just make the deal less.
Yeah, because to me, it's a difference between me picking up your 5th-year option and me just giving you a 1-year extension, a la Terrell Edmonds. We didn't pick up his option.
Right.
We were just like, yo, we'll come back and give you a 1 year for, was it 1.2, 1.3, whatever he signed for.
Maybe it could even be 1 year.
Yeah.
6. It's a little bit more respectable, too.
We'll do 5 with some incentives. Yeah. Because once again, why are you paying it 8 or even in that ballpark if you don't even feel like he's going to be your best player at that position?
For good vibes.
I like your energy, bro. I wish you was my GM. Pay the good vibes, bro. Sheesh, I would have got me a couple more, man. Mess with you, Deke. They don't usually pay for the good vibes. They usually be like, yo, if you can't give us what we want, we'll figure the rest of it out.
Keep the good times going.
We're not paying you, though. Yeah.
Keep the good times going. If he's doing good, having success, team's winning.
And Jaylen is cooking, though.
Jaylen's cooking, too. But then his time will be up after that.
So
it's only 1 year for Najee. That's what I'm saying. Then you could do a little multi for him after.
But when you said 1 for 8, it's like, bro, that's Saquon just got 1 for 10.
The franchise. I'm not saying franchise tag Najee.
So Najee's just a $2 million difference then. That's the part why we still got a Jaylen Warren. I just think that his value is only going to be decreasing the more we see Jaylen do 62 yarders and step around all pro safeties in space, bro.
Sure, I get it. On paper, for sure. But I do think Najee means something to this team.
He does.
As a leader and just...
Bro, to me,
growing with this young core, too.
To me, he's one of our heartbeats on offense.
That's how I feel.
I feel like he's the tone setter. It doesn't get
talked about. So I think that might be worth
though.
The extra $1 or $2.
Yeah.
If he's producing, too. I mean, it's a different story. If he's out there averaging 3.5 a carry, Warren's looking way better than him. If he's doing good things, we got a good tandem between the two. For 1 year, if we can afford it and it's not killing us, Omar Khan knows all this stuff. Because he's smart.
I look at the context of if the season goes like how this game just went, right? Where it's going to be back and forth, but the only difference is on occasion, Warren is going to give us the explosive play. I feel like at the end of the year, when we start talking, is he worth 8? Is he worth 7? Is he worth 6? I think that convo looks a lot different if Warren is around 500-600 on the ground, another 200 in the air. I think we're looking at that like, nah, we can go spend that on another corner. We can go spend that on another tackle, or we can spend that on a safety. That's what I'm looking at.
It'd be like the Chargers moving on from Melvin Gordon and going with
think
Eckler.
about what is Cole Holcomb. He gets 4 years.
6?
Oh, excuse me, 6 this year. And I thought that he played his tail off this past game. But just think of the context of 6, and he's clearly one of our top 2 LBs who's going to play 85 to 90% of the snaps, right? Whereas when we're talking about Najee, potentially, if this goes like how we think it goes with Jaylen Warren, we're going to pay him 6 to give you split carries.
I get it.
That's the only thing.
I get it.
And it's the position where you know how quickly it could depreciate as well. Not saying that he is going down there, but that's just some of the context. I mean, it's a serious year for him. He knows that, though. We've already talked about what this year means for Najee in terms of him really trying to get paid. Like, he got to do something this year. But it's just the pros and cons of Jaylen Warren. Like, that's the argument with the position, though. That's definitely it.
Oh, yeah, we've been talking about it
That's
all
the argument,
offseason.
yeah. Absolutely, man. Right above your head on the screen, there's a logo. I don't know if you know that, man. It's a logo. Goes by the name of DraftKings Sportsbook. You know, just the top-rated sportsbooking app. You feel me? Safe, secure, dependable, reliable. Sound like I'm talking about you, low-key. I'm just talking about the app, though. You know how that is, man. It's the best of the best. I don't like the beer on the best of the best, Deke. All right? And that's what DraftKings Sportsbook is, ladies and gents. And, of course, today's show is brought to you by them. So salute DraftKings, man, for being back on board for us this season. And with that being the case, you know if we talking about them, baby, you know we got to have a promo code. So if this is your first time rocking with DraftKings, download the app. All right? Then after you download said app, it's going to be time to make that first wager, Deke. All right? So when you're about to make that first wager, because you want that opportunity to make a little money, you put that first.
Makes the games more exciting.
It does. It definitely does. So you put a little $5 down, right? Because you want to just tip. You want to put your toe in. A little minimum of $5, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the secret is this, though, Deke. When you put the promo code in with the $5 bet, the promo code is MOATS. You put that in with that $5 bet, you get $200 in free DraftKings deposit bonus money to use for future bets as well. I mean, it's a great concept.
You just got to put $5 in.
That's it. $5 and MOATS is the promo code.
I'm not the smartest guy out there, but that seems like a good deal.
It is pretty chill, bro. It is pretty chill. So it is, a win-win. That's how I look at it, man. That's definitely how I look at it. But Deke, I do know at times we can have a little bit too much fun, right? When you get these opportunities to make a little bit of that moolah, baby, it get a little crazy. And sometimes you might get a little out of whack.
Yeah.
You might even have what they call a gambling problem. Deke, you could need crisis counseling and referral services.
Got to keep the priorities straight.
100%. And if you live in New York, there is a specific number for you to call or even text. But for everybody else, the number you need to dial is 1-800-GAMBLER.